What's up, nerds and nerdettes and heathen nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Alright, so we are here with a Big John and G's How to Play. And since you saw the setup, and the unboxing before that, I think you're about ready to learn how to play Duel of Dragons. I'll see you down at the table. So there are basically 3 phases that you have to be aware of to play this game. And we're going to start with each of them in order. If you may remember, if you've watched, if you saw the previous video, Big Johnny G, you set me up Duel of the Dragons. Then you'll remember that we ended that off where each player starts the game off with 4 cards dealt from the top of the dragon deck. So that's where we're picking this up from. So at the start of each player's turn, they're going to draw 1 card from the dragon deck. So at the start of this player's turn, he will draw 1 card. He will not drop it and show the other player at all. He or she will look at the card, see what it is, put it in their hand, and decide if it's something that they may or may not want to use right away on their first round. The second phase, the player is going to go through their hand, and they're going to decide on what card that they're going to play, whether it's the card they just received or one of the cards already in their hand. Now, before we continue, I want to discuss the 3 different kind of cards that the player may have in their hand. The first is a combat card, and this is the way the combat card looks, and each one has their own description. This one says Tail Lash. Deal damage equal to your total tail values visible on your dragon. You'll know what that means in a moment. Another possible one, Wing Buffet. Deal damage equal to the highest wing value visible on your dragon. And one more example of a combat card, Savage Bite. Deal damage equal to the head value of your dragon +2. So these are examples of combat cards. Combat cards are the basic attack cards that you're going to be building your dragon on. Again, I'll get to that in a moment. Now, the second kind of cards that will be found in this game that you may have in your hand are the special attack cards. Now, with the right setup of basic combat cards that you've already placed around your dragon, which I'll get to in a moment, these can offer a lot of damage. Definitely, if you have the right setup with some of these cards, like this one, Savage Slash. Multiply each of your claw values together. Deal that much damage to your opponent. I mean, that's just vicious, absolutely vicious. Tooth and Nail. Multiply your highest head value by your highest foot value. Deal that much damage to your opponent. Yeah, these can be absolutely devastating. Now, the third kind of card that's in this deck that could end up in your hand, which could end up being used by you, are what's known as action cards. Action cards are non-combat cards, such as Aerial Escape. Play this card after an opponent has played a card. Prevent all damage that card would cause to you. Draw a card. Another possible example here We have Strategize. Pick up all combat cards that are beneath your dragon. Then place them back under it in any sequence. No damage is done this way. Oh, wow, that's very interesting to do. And one more final one, since it looks like I'm showing 3 off at a time. Second Wind. Activate your dragon ability. This does not count against your once per round limit. And see, another very cool card. And then you get to draw a card. So those are the 3 different kind of cards that you will find in the game. Your combat cards, your special attack cards, and your action cards. Speaking of action, let's get back to the action. The third and final phase of the player's turn. This is the placing of the combat card phase. Using as an example here, Bracken the Blue Dragon. If this is, let's say, for the sake of argument, for the sake of example, actually, not argument, for the sake of example, let's say that this is the card that I am playing using the hand that I showed you before. And also, just on a side note, I just want to say, I said this during the setup, and I just want to say this again. Always be aware of your dragon's abilities, because you never know when they're going to come in handy, and sometimes in the heat of the game, you can sometimes forget about them. Such as Bracken, you always gain a +1 to each wing icon on your dragon, and the special ability is the Lightning Blast. Discard a combat card. Deal damage equal to that card's wing total to your opponent. So you always want to keep that in mind, because that's going to really help you with your strategy and with the placing of the cards that I'm going to talk about right now. So, yes, the placing of the cards is actually very specific, and that goes to it's the combat cards we're talking about. And you were wondering about the out of focus. Hey, you were wondering about the numbers around the side, the little number boxes. This is a very important part of the game. It's a very simple part of the game, though looking at it from an outsider, it's very easy to look at this and go, wow, that looks crazy. But it is not. It's so simple. Let me talk you through this. So when you play, let's say I want to play Cutting Claw for my dragon Bracken. Starting off, you have to choose one of the corners. You always start with the corners. So let's say I wanted to do this right here. So I got the card in place like so. On my next turn, maybe I want to play Wing Buffet on my next turn. So now I'm going to figure out, do I want to put it in this corner, or the other corner? And the reason this is a decision to make is because it's going to cover something else up. Until another card is played, all these numbers are usable if a card says number of wings in play or heads in play. But once you cover something up, and you always have to put the new card on top. Once you cover something up, see now, if I put it in this corner, the 2 and the 1 are no longer available to me, but I am getting a 1 and a 3. So you're going to do this. Your first 4 turns of playing your cards, you're going to be cornering them. Remember, they always go on top of the previous card. So you're going to go through and you're going to build up the 4 corners like so. Like so, right? So at this point, after you place your 4th card, filling up the corners, you're going to have 14 icons going across. You're going to have 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, and then you're going to have the 4 on the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You will have the 14 icons forming. Now, you're not over yet, because you're still going to be able to play with more cards. because you have the top and the bottom and the sides that you're going to fill in as well. So at this point, after another 4 placing of the cards for on top, bottom, and the sides, this is the way your dragon, let me just pull this, I just pulled that up and down and out to as a visual cue for everyone so you can see it. The cards will be tighter actually when you're playing it. Remember, I just had that set up at the beginning there to show you. So there, I'm going to put Bracken back. And that's going to be the dragon's entire setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 icons will be visible to you by the time you have placed your 8th card. Now this is where it gets fun. Once a player has put down their 8th card, that's going to trigger the end of the round. At this point, both players are going to add up all the numbers in the icon boxes along the outside of their dragon. So in this case, 2, 5, that's 7, 8, 11, 14, 17, 19, 20, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So my score would be 32. Now let's say Tommy V's score was 39. That's a 7-point difference, and that's how much health I would lose. The difference is what the player with the least score is going to take for damage. That's right, and that's it. That is the entire round. And if at that point both dragons are still standing, then the next round will begin, and the players will each take their turn. They will play their cards. They will play their actions. They will play their special attacks. And the round will continue until once again another player manages to get 8 cards around their dragon. And then the points will be added up. And again, damage will be dealt. Damage that is the difference between the 2 scores. My friends, what can I say? That's it. That's how the game is played. Start of your turn, you're going to draw a card. And then you're going to play a card from your hand. It's going to be a combat card, a special attack card, or an action card. Combat cards are going to be placed around your dragons. Special attack cards and action cards are going to be discarded after that they are played. And then after the dragon is set up, combat is going to be done after the 8th card, and whatever the difference in the score is, the player with the lower score is going to take that difference in damage. Now remember that generally speaking, unless something says otherwise, your dragon's unique ability can only be used at the start of your turn. And always remember their abilities. Keep them in mind. It could prevent you from losing the game. And that's it. The dragons are going to keep battling back and forth until the last dragon standing or flying is declared the winner. And there you go. That's how to play the game. So you saw the unboxing. You saw the setup. Now you got the how-to play. So for Friday night, we're going to have a double drop, my friends, and both drops are going to be this game. They are both going to be Duel of the Dragons. We're going to start off with First Rounds on Me, which is going to be a playthrough of the first round of the game. Then come back, that's going to be at 6 p.m., and then at 7 p.m. on Friday, following that, an hour later, just an hour later, a mere hour, my friends, the full playthrough will be aired. So if your curiosity is piqued, come back and check that out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for checking us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. I meant Twitter. It's getting way too late, my friends. But yes, thank you for checking us out on YouTube. And also thank you for checking out our Zazzle store. And, checking out some of the really cool, nerdy things we have going on over there. So continue to like, comment, and share our videos throughout the new year, my friends. It is the greatest way that you can say thank you or just say, hey, I liked the video. Alright, I'm your buddy Big John Ajiva. Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am out of here.